And to begin around the hardwood, gentlemen, the new CBA has been agreed upon, which will begin Saturday with the new CBA. Now, this is a very lengthy CBA here. I got a chance to do a skim at it. It's almost like 650 pages worth of stuff in this CBA. So, fellas, what y'all thinking about the CBA?
I know this. When one of the talking points of the CBA bargaining sessions was, yeah, we want to slide a midseason tournament in there. I almost wanted to grab a bucket and hurl in it. So I'm like, really? The league is going well. Why would you want to taint it by doing something like that? Even just introduce it, even if it doesn't pass. Why would you even want to introduce that?
Well, yeah, but that's what they wanted to do. Dre,
I gotta agree with Cole. That shit don't make no sense to me. It's bad enough that you started this playing, but I mean,
Hmm.
we're kind of enjoying it now. I think they on the third year. I think they on the third year of doing this playing thing, so it's looking like they're gonna be experimenting with this for the foreseeable future. But to put in a tournament in the middle of the season, what they trying to do? Swagger jack off the WNBA?
Haters.
who knows at this point or what they are trying to do with this mid-season tournament? So, but it's a very lengthy though. So those of you who can go in and find information that you want to look for, kudos to you. But this is you talking almost 700 pages in this CBA. Good gracious!
Mm.
All right. As we continue on, we have the Chicago Bulls and Mikhail Vucevic reaching a 3-year, $60 million extension, keeping him in the Bulls uniform now. Dre, unlike Cole Johnson, you like some good big man. So the fact that Chicago is keeping theirs, what does that do for them?
You don't do shit for them. It's that simple. We don't do shit for them. I mean, listen. I'm not gonna tell a man to not get his bag. I'm happy for him, but this ain't gonna do anything for Chicago. Him staying there is not gonna make them a top team in the East. It ain't gonna make them do nothing crazy. So you're gonna be there for another 3 years, get your 60 million, and support your family, and that's about it. I don't expect anything else from the Chicago team. So I'm glad he got his money, but it does not a damn thing for them on the basketball court.
Cole, you're familiar with the Chicago Bulls because you work with the guy who's from Chicago,
Yes.
and when he gets a chance to talk about Chicago, he does. So Vucevic stand with the Bulls.
Yeah, Dre has a really good point. I mean, this was a team that looked like they were going places a few years back, and then the Lonzo Ball injury just messed everything up, and they haven't recovered since then. And now it looks like the Lonzo is going to be missing another full season. So yeah, this probably is the brightest of bright spots for the Bulls. But yeah, it doesn't really do anything for the team. It does a lot for Vucevic though. So I thought that he was going to look for greener pastures. One to have one to have a ring before he retires. He wanted to secure that bag, and his back can't really fault the man for that.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball having another knee surgery. You're like, how many we up to right now?
Is this his third? I think he came off his third. I think.
Third.
I think
And
Lon, I think Lonzo needs to just hang it up.
Unfortunately, I think he does too.
I think he needs to just hang it up. I hope he has a lot of money saved up, but your basketball career just might be over.
Yeah.
Too many injuries, too many knee injuries for that matter.
Yeah.
It's too many on them knees, and he's been missing lengthy games too. It ain't like, oh, he get injured and he's missing a week or so. Dude, you missing you missing weeks and
Seasons.
months. Like that
And
shit
now
take a toll on you.
and now seasons.
I can only imagine what that's doing to his psyche.
Mm-hmm.
That's news coming out of Chicago. We go from Chicago to LA because the Clippers are not guaranteeing Aaron Gordon's $20 million deal next season, making him a free agent. This move is a financial move for the Clippers as they are saving money to avoid the cap penalty. So Aaron Gordon is now a free agent, gentlemen. And start. Let's go to Cole.
Eric Gordon, free agent. Okay, so you have a guy who's a spot up shooter. Uh, he can be streaky at times. So this isn't a player where you're saying to yourself, "Oh, we need to have him on our squad because he might be the piece that we're missing to get that chip." And the Clippers think that they are needing those types of pieces. In fact, my brother believes that they already have the pieces. So this is a great move for the Clippers. I mean, they really need to move him off the books. As for Gordon, if he's going to get playing time, I'm going to be real. If he's going to get playing time, he may need to be on a team that really isn't going to go anywhere, or he has to be happy trying to being a sixth man on a team like the Lakers or the Warriors or the Heat, because he's not going to get that type of time as a starter. Not on those teams.
Dre.
I agree with Cole. If he's looking to go somewhere and play an intricate part to a team, he might have to go to one of these trash ass teams.
Mm-hmm.
He might have to go to, like he said, the teams that he said. I don't really see him being able to go to one of these veteran contender teams and really do damage with them. He had the chance to do it with the Clippers, but unfortunately, your 2-star players can't stay healthy. And, now we're hearing rumblings going on with them about people in the front office is getting very impatient with Kawhi and Paul George now. So, I mean, that's another story for another day. But with Eric Gordon, as far as it goes for him, I don't really see him being able to flourish on any one of these veteran teams that are championship contenders. He might have to go to one of these bottom feeding teams and flourish over there. I mean, call me a homer, but I wouldn't mind to see him go to San Antonio and help out over there, bring some type of leadership to that young Spurs team, because I don't see him going anywhere. I don't see him going to any one of these veteran-like championship battle-tested teams to do anything. He might have to be going to one of these teams that are young and looking for veteran leadership, like a Detroit or San Antonio or Orlando, for that matter. I don't see him really doing much with any of these veteran teams.
When you say that, Cole, is he allowed to come back to Houston?
I mean, he probably would. He probably could. I mean, there would be a spot for him. That would be a need that the team has. A spot up shooter that has leadership and veteran abilities, because that team is chock full of young talent. Yeah, but I get the feeling he probably don't want to be there.
Young talent and a new head and a new coach in charge. That's why I asked you.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Gordon, free agent, should be interesting. All right, finally, we're gonna go to the collegiate level here, because for those of you who don't remember, the ACC and the SEC has a new challenge in basketball when they go against each other, and they released the schedules of both the men's and the women's. Some of the headliners are, for the men's, North Carolina will be hosting Tennessee up in Chapel Hill. You have the Duke Blue that was going down to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. You have the Kentucky Wildcats meeting up with the Miami Hurricanes at Rupp Arena. On the women's side, you have Louisville going to Ole Miss. You have the defending champ, the LSU Tigers. They will be hosting. Let me see if I can remember the Virginia Tech Hokies, and then you have the battle of the Carolinas between North Carolina and South Carolina. So Cole Johnson, ACC, SEC basketball matchup release. What stands out to you?
Oh, that's simple. The women's game between LSU and Virginia Tech. That's the one that stands out to me because that is the marquee matchup in both tournaments. To me, there isn't a bigger game than those two meeting up. The one that comes closest is the North Carolina, South Carolina on the women's side. But I am looking forward to seeing what Virginia Tech can do and if they can improve off of how they were in their Final Four trip. And remember, when they did meet in the national semifinals, they actually held a lead late in the game, and LSU came back and took them. So that is the one women's side, LSU, Virginia Tech, hands down.
Dre, what stands out to you from the first ACC SEC challenge to be taking place next season?
I'm liking this Cole guy because it seems like we have a very good rapport because we tend to agree on a lot of things so far. We haven't really disagreed that much because, Darnell, you already know when it comes to the women's side with me, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, the women's season this past season was much better than the men's season. The women's tournament dog walked the men's tournament this season. I'm glad that they introduced March Madness for the women too, as opposed to just calling it March Madness for the men. I was glad that they finally did it for the women. But just like you said, that LSU Virginia Tech game, that's the one that I'm looking forward to because with LSU being fully equipped now, bringing Haley over from Louisville, and Virginia Tech still having their players. None of them went to the WNBA draft. All of them is still in Virginia Tech. I think that game right there is going to be one of the highlight games of this upcoming season. So I'm very much looking forward to that game. Very much looking forward to it. Now, from the men's side, I mean, as far as the programs are concerned, okay, on paper, it looks good. Like you said, Duke and Arkansas, okay, that opens up the rivalry from back in the day in the 90s when they was going back and forth trying to win national championships. But for the most part, ain't nobody really tuned in and giving a fuck about those games. It's more so for the women. It's more so for the women's games. And those are the ones that I'm going to really, really, really be tuned into, especially this LSU and Virginia Tech game.
See, I'm angry with you, Playmaker. You usually introduced me to this Dre guy long before now, bro. The dude spitting hot fire. I could not disagree with one single syllable he just said.
Hey, y'all had me come on y'all show. This is the first time I was able to bring you on. Okay, what you want me to do? Okay, things take time.
Darnell knows when it comes to women's basketball, I don't play when it comes to that. Like this times I love watching the women more than the guys. Like I mean it is what it is, and. This past season, from what I saw from women's basketball, I was a fan before it anyway. I've been watching women's basketball for as long as I can remember. But this year alone, my goodness, man, goodness.
Yeah.
You know, Ric Flair, Royal Rumble, a tear to my eye. That's what it did for me this season because I was just very much impressed from what I saw. Aside from LSU winning the national championship, we know what Caitlin Clark can do. I'm eager to see what's going to happen when Paige comes back. I'm eager to see what AZ Fudd does if she can stay healthy. I'm eager to see what's going to happen with Dawn Staley. She lost some key veteran leadership on that South Carolina team. I'm not going to sit here and doubt that she's going to now tank and sink. I don't believe that from Dawn Staley at all, but I'm very much intrigued with this upcoming women's basketball season. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm looking forward to that way more than I'm looking forward to the men's season. Sorry, but not sorry.
And
Mm.
honestly, when you see Virginia Tech LSU, you circle that game right there.
Mm-hmm.
The revamped LSU team who added Haley Van Lit to that squad.
Which was
Georgia
already
Amore is back with the Hoagies. So that offensive firepower is still up in Blacksburg.
Elizabeth Keatley's still there too.
It's
Virginia Tech didn't lose nothing. They didn't lose nothing.
but I will say this: Virginia Tech, you're going into hostile environments when you head down to Baton Rouge on November 30th.
well, that's true.
I can't wait to preview that game. But if I had to pick, I mean, John Staley re- regrouping her South Carolina Gamecocks team in a battle for Carolinas up in Chapel Hill.
Oh, they're gonna dog walk North Carolina. They're gonna dog walk that. That goes without saying.
They should be
And
there.
then if I had to pick a third game, it's been on the same day, Thursday, November 30th, Duke and Georgia. Because Duke, man, Georgia play defense. But can either one of them keep a lead? That would be my question for that game. Which one wants to keep the lead longer?
Whose house is it in?
It'll be in UGA.
So in Athens, okay.
I'll give the edge to them because it's in their house.
So I'm looking at
And the SEC is a powerhouse. Like that's a powerhouse conference in women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, like what was it? I think it was Haley Jones. She used to play for Stanford. She now plays for the Atlanta Dream in WNBA. I remember her. I forgot who it was. I think she was going back and forth with two people on her podcast, and they was asking like which conference is the best. And of course, she's gonna be pro. She's gonna be Pac, of course. And Aaliyah Boston, of course, she was gonna say SEC. So they was going back and forth trying to figure out which conference was the best and whatnot. But I think SEC might have they might have the powerhouse as far as the conference go.
On the men's side, you did bring up Duke and Arkansas. I can see that, but
No. I brought them up. I brought them up just for the reason of the history of being in the 90s. They was going back and forth, winning the national, playing in the national championship game. I think it was one year they played each other in the national championship game. I think that was the year Duke was trying to go for the three-peat and Arkansas beat them. But for the most part, nobody give a fuck about that game, man. Like nobody is really ain't no, how can I say it? Ain't no real stars on these teams. Nobody giving a fuck about this Duke Arkansas shit. It looks good because of the storied programs, but for the most part, our eyes and attention is on the women. Okay, let's stop bullshitting and let's stop sugarcoating. Okay, I'm pre-diabetic, but come on now, like come on, ain't no sugarcoating over here. It's women's basketball right now. That's where it's at right now.
Yeah,
of course, I'll be watching as much of the women's games as I can the men's game. But I know most of the people like watching the men's games, and I'm saying from my point of view, from the men's side, coming off your most horrible season in program history, if you North Carolina, you got to match up with the Tennessee Volunteers in Chapel Hill. That could answer some questions for me on both sides.
The men gonna do their thing. Don't get me wrong, but I think right now, I think Cole might agree with me on this, but for the most part, I think right now all the attention right now is for the women right now. I'm sure the guys are still gonna do them, but for the most part, I think all the eyes and attention right now is shifted. It's shifted for the girls right now.
Yeah, the women's game definitely in college. The women's game is a whole lot better. And look, and I love watching basketball, and I fully get the men's game, but man, for the exception of the fact that one tournament played in an arena and the other played in a stadium, look, let's be frank.
Yeah.
Did we care about the men's Final Four this year?
I know I didn't.
See, now if
I know I didn't.
Did we care about the men's Final Four this year?
I didn't give two fucks about that tournament. I didn't give two fucks. My eyes was glued to the
And
women's
the only
Final
reason,
Four.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go. I know what you're finna say.
And the only reason why you cared about a playmaker was because half of the pool came from Florida.
I knew he was gonna bring that up. I knew it. I'm
gonna be honest with you.
Continue to rub salt in the room here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even remember the teams that was in it. Besides UConn, what was the other teams that was in it?
San Diego State, Miami, and Florida Atlantic.
Okay.
And both teams from Florida got eliminated in the Final Four.
In the final, yeah, it's something that's.
Oh, so you really didn't give a fuck anymore?
Oh, that national championship he did. Yeah.
You was done after the national semifinal.
Yeah.
That's a really most sudden into the room, Cole Johnson.
What the?
Just want to remind me of the failures of the state of Florida.
I'm just speaking facts, Playmaker. That's all I'm doing.
If I never would have brought that up, you wouldn't have said it.
It has been a bad year for Florida. Now that you said that.
Depending on who you asking, they'll be like, they want me to celebrate a track and field title for Florida Gators and a golf tournament championship. I'm like,
I mean, for the major stuff, it's been on rocky roads for Florida so far this year.
I'm looking like, was those two championships nationally televised? No. All the ones that were nationally televised, a team from Florida came up short. But that's it for round R.